All right, welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live on this Thursday morning. We continue our series chronicling the reopening of New York City. Yahoo Finance anchor Shauna Smith is live in Times Square, now joined by the CEO of SoulCycle. Shauna.
Thanks so much, Miles. I'm joined by Evelyn Webster, the CEO of SoulCycle. And Evelyn, just give us a sense, because there's no better person to talk to about the fitness industry and the rebound that we've seen in the city than someone like you. So now you're focused on bringing riders back into the studio. What has that process been like?
Well, of course, the focus has been on reopening studios that have been closed for the last 15 months and also re-engaging with our community. The brilliant thing about SoulCycle is the community is our superpower, so they have really missed being with each other. So fortunately, as we've been opening up studio after studio, we've been celebrating and welcoming our riders back with us, and thank goodness they are coming back in droves, which has been great.
You have such a loyal customer base. That's one thing that sets SoulCycle apart from some of your competitors out there. In terms of the rate at which they're returning, is it meeting your initial expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think there's been such an incredible pent-up demand for people to have kind of human contact once again, that as we've been opening up, we've been really thrilled with the level of ridership. Of course, different studios have been active throughout the pandemic. We have had outdoor activations, so we've had an opportunity to really keep our community active throughout. But now we've got over 50% of our studios open. We are thrilled with the ridership and riders just re-engaging with us, some for the first time in 15 months. It's just incredible. We've seen tears of joy. We've seen wait lists. I love it.
I think so many people are just so relieved and excited to get back to places exactly like you are describing. When you talk about some of the changes that you have made over the past 16 months, and I know you've just been at the helm since January, but how has that transition gone? And I guess some of the new initiatives like the at-home bike, do you expect to continue to do that post-pandemic?
So there are two things that have happened over the last 15 months. One, we actually transitioned outside, which is quite an extraordinary achievement. You know, the Soul experience is all about being in a dark, candlelit room, and you think, well, that's it. But of course, we're now outside in the open air with headsets, and that has been tremendously successful. And we also launched the at-home bike, so you can get Soul at home on the Equinox Plus platform. I think as we come back, outdoor will remain an important part of our business. I mean, it has proved to be phenomenally successful for us, and so I think that will definitely be part of our offering going forward. And there's no doubt that when our riders come back, they'll want a blended fitness experience, and so we want to lean in and be wherever they are. So if that's outdoor, indoor, at home, we're there for them.
And the rise of Peloton is something we have to mention because that really took off right when the pandemic happened. And of course, then you started offering at-home bikes. But how much has that kind of played into your strategy here? And I guess, what is your plan for the future in order just to keep up with that, or not so much keep up with them, but in order to go head-to-head with that at-home fitness environment?
So I think less about Peloton, although it's brilliant business, and more about our SoulCycle brand and the SoulCycle experience. You know, SoulCycle is so unique. For anybody that rides with Soul, we ride to the beat of the music. Our instructors are phenomenal. They weave incredible magic to uplift hearts and minds and spirits. And so continuing to translate the Soul experience digitally clearly is going to be a big part of our ongoing focus. And having theme rides and linking to music, which is such a big part of SoulCycle because we ride to the beat of the music. We're not metrics based, we are music based. So just continuing to elevate and broaden the Soul experience in a digital environment. That's the future, and that's what we'll keep focused on.
When you take a look at the recovery efforts here in New York City, because you have 19 locations here in New York City, comparing that to what you're seeing nationwide outside of this tri-state area, I guess, how do the two stack up?
In terms of riders returning, actually it's fairly consistent. There is definitely a ramp. And so in certain states, Texas, for example, we have been open indoor for some time, and so we've got a much more active ridership. But that ramped at a certain rate, and we're seeing that is true across the West Coast, the East Coast. So I would say a very similar pattern. What's been really important for us to focus on at SoulCycle is not just welcoming our riders back to how we were, but welcoming them back and ensuring that they feel confident and safe. And so a lot of focus, of course, is being put on how do we get riders back in the studio so they feel comfortable sitting this close to the person that's next door to them.
And you've diversified your revenue efforts not only since the start of the pandemic, but even before. Retail, of course, is one area that's important to your business. In terms of the future strategy there, how do you see that evolving going forward?
Yeah, I think retail is a small but mighty part of our business, and we are very ambitious in terms of our growth strategy as it pertains to retail. We have some very exciting plans which I cannot divulge today, but over the next few weeks and coming months, you'll be hearing a lot more about our retail strategy.
And I have to ask you, because you took over at SoulCycle in January was when you started, and I would think that some people would say, Evelyn, why are you going to SoulCycle at a time like this? The fitness world is changing. The way people work out now isn't the same as what they were doing 16 months ago. Why was this the right fit for you?
That's such a good question. So for the last 6 years, I've been an avid rider of SoulCycle, so I am a member of this community. I often say that our community is our superpower. SoulCycle is a phenomenal brand. It does something quite magical amongst the community. The community nourishes each other, they lift each other up. There is very much a huge opportunity for SoulCycle to continue to evolve, feed a greater community, both in the States and internationally. And I think Soul is such a powerful brand that it gives us a lot of opportunity to elevate and broaden out the proposition. And so being an avid member of the community, always on the outside, enviously looking at this incredible powerhouse of a brand, thinking, oh my God, there is so much potential there. That's why it was my dream job. That's why I wanted to come.
And as you've reopened your studios, of course, not all of them are reopened yet in New York City. Are you having any trouble attracting the number of instructors or the number of workers that you need in order to meet the demand that's out there?
That's an excellent question. We have been recruiting both new studio staff and new instructors. I will say that we just graduated Group 36. About 65 new instructors have joined us. We advertised for new applicants to enter into the program. It was our most oversubscribed group that we've ever had. So we had zero problems attracting instructors. In terms of our field team, we're still out there in the market, so if anybody would like to join SoulCycle, please let us know. But yeah, we are recruiting, but no, we're not struggling to bring people in. SoulCycle is a very attractive place to work, so fortunately, all things are going well for us.
Evelyn Webster, CEO of SoulCycle, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really appreciate it. Miles, I'll send it back to you.